Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. It is presented to you by Amazon. It is your number one destination for back-to-school shopping. This guy will know all about back-to-school shopping one day when his daughter grows up. Right now, she's just a toddler and so adorable. Ryan Jeffers of the Minnesota Twins. I'll tell you, man, you catchers, you make cute kids, and then I don't even know why you'd want to go to work anymore. I just want to, hang out with my kids. Mine are all they're stinky and grown men. You got adorable daughter, the whole bit, dude.
I do have to say it's getting harder. She just turned 4. We have a son who just turned 1. So it's getting harder and harder every road trip. There's more emotions involved as they get older. So it's definitely harder.
Well, speaking of road trips, you're joining us where my son actually is living for the summer because he's interning for the Milwaukee Brewers. You're up in Milwaukee, and so don't give me the whole story about the team being scared of staying in the Pfister Hotel because of ghosts. Please tell me we gotten past that whole thing, right?
I think there's some people on the team that just don't even want to entertain the idea of the possibility of a ghost. I know there's some guys that rent Airbnbs on different teams. I know there's some guys that go to a different hotel. We also have the other side of the token. We have a coach that specifically asked for said room that has had the most amount of activity per se. And he says he sleeps the best he's ever slept. So tip your cap to him.
Okay, hold on. You're telling me several of your teammates are not staying in the team hotel because of this?
I'm not sure the number, but I know there is definitely a non-zero number that does not stay here.
Oh, please tell me you crushed them.
No, honestly, I don't. Hey, let them do what they want. Whether they've had maybe an experience, there's definitely some fun stories.
You haven't been a part of any of them, have you?
No, I've never had anything. I mean, it's definitely an old hotel. The little history lesson that comes on the TV when you turn the TV on. Normally you have like Mario Lopez with the movie intros. This hotel just has like 1800 history lessons, which can kind of get creepy. But I haven't had anything personally. No.
Well, I'm happy I still get to introduce you as a Minnesota Twin because you know the deal, right? You're a free agent to be. You've had a couple of great seasons in a row. Everybody's dying to have catching, it feels like. So your name was bandied about in trade talk. Just tell me what the last week has been like for you.
Yeah, it's been really tough. It's when you're off the field, when you're hanging in the locker room with the guys, when you're on the plane rides, when you're at home with your family, there's just so much uncertainty and you don't know where you're going to be. I tried really hard not to put a preference on what I wanted. I wanted to be happy no matter what happened and where I ended up. But now that it's all done and all the dust is settled, I'm excited to continue to grind with this group that I've been with for 7 years now, with an organization that drafted me. Finish out the year and see where it takes us.
All right, and we'll get to that momentarily, but was there ever a time on Monday's deadline where you thought you were gone?
Um, I was definitely staying by my phone. It's funny, the Rutschman going to the movie theaters. Our whole team was in the movies as well. We had half our team, me and a couple other guys were in Odyssey. So it kept us busy for sure. When I saw that Rutschman went and I saw that there was less and less catching on the market, I knew there was a chance that a team could swoop in and give an offer that the Twins couldn't resist. But like I said, I was just kind of with these things, you're at the mercy of the team and you're at the mercy of what other people's decisions. So as a player, you know it's one more thing in your baseball career that you're not in control of.
Okay, but you just mentioned you've got a daughter that's about to be 4 and a young son as well. What are the conversations with your wife all about? Because all we do when the guy gets traded, we see him one day, he's in a Giants uniform like Luis Ariz. The next day he pops on our screen and he's in a Phillies uniform. We're like, no big deal. He just changed channels for us. For you guys, you get your whole world turned upside down. What were the discussions like with your wife?
Yeah, we were definitely. We're she's a planner. She likes to be prepared for different things. So, we were definitely ready and had our ducks in a line. If she was going to end up going back to North Carolina for a little while, If we were going to have to pack up the house, it's hard for me, with like we said, with two kids and a wife. I don't want to be on the road and get traded and then rely on her to then have to pack up the entire house with kids and everything and try and move. So, we packed up some stuff that we weren't using, some winter stuff, some things we needed from spring training, and send it home and just kind of cleared out some of the clutter that we would have done anyways at the end of the year. Um, but it's part of this life. It's the non-glamorous thing that we have to deal with is moving 3 times a year already, and then if you throw a fourth one in there, it definitely adds a little wrinkle. But we were prepared. We signed up for this. This is kind of part of the whole gig we do.
Hey, you are still part of the Twins. You better unpack the winter stuff, because if you guys get to where you want to go, that winter's going to be coming back around, brother.
We kept a couple jackets out for sure.
Okay, good. Now, this is very different than a year ago when literally on the day of the trade deadline, your team swapped out 40% of your roster. It's something like we had never seen before. So once it comes to pass and you add Dean Kramer, starter from the Orioles, and you add Minter and you add Hoffman, now you're like, okay, what's the renewed energy like in a clubhouse when you are adding instead of subtracting?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's there's an energy that comes with guys coming into that locker room. Guys that you see could, and then when they get those first outings, you're like, oh yeah, that's a nice piece to have down there. And when Dean goes out there and throws 5 innings of 1-run ball, and you're like, wow, that's a nice arm to have. It just gives you energy. Our offense right now hasn't been clicking as good as we want to be, but we're hitting the ball hard, and we really trust our pitching staff now. And baseball is a funny sport, man. It's like, if you can sneak your way into the playoffs, if you can find a way to get one of those spots, anybody can win at any time in a 3-game series, a 5-game series. Like, it can get real interesting. So I love being on the other side of it, as a change to last year.
Yeah, I'm sure last year sucked for you guys. Probably the
Wild.
day after the trade deadline, you were like, this is like, it probably was like a morgue.
Yeah, we were in Cleveland too, so we were on the road. Cleveland's already a little bit of a downer of a city. Sorry.
Okay, Jeffers, I see you. I see what we're
It's
doing.
not like we're itching to go to Cleveland. And then you're there and half your team's all of a sudden's gone. It was definitely a weird time this year. Having the off day in Kansas City, we were all kind of hanging out together again. But it's nice seeing names pop up the other way versus guys saying goodbye.
I won't hold that comment against you. I guess that's fine. I love my city, and damn it, we have a nice hotel that you stay in. So you take that back.
It was, yeah, it's fine, yeah.
We're gonna have to have an off-camera talk about that. So you were a walk-on at UNC Wilmington, preferred walk-on. If that had not worked out, what would you be doing right now, do you think?
Yeah, I was a physics major. I probably would have gone into some sort of engineering field, aerospace, aeronautical, something like that. I'm glad that did not have to do that. I'd say baseball's a lot more fun than physics for sure.
So are you? I do that show BattleBots where we do the 250-pound robots fighting against one another. Please tell me that you watch a little bit.
I did know that. I did watch that growing up a lot on Discovery Channel, and then maybe the Science Channel, I think, a little bit too. Yeah, no, that was right up my alley. That was definitely something that if I saw on TV as a 12-year-old, I was watching that.
See, look, I mean, I
Little
can bring
Minotaur
that music.
action, there's a lot of
There's nothing better than this stuff. It is a fascinating world. I mean, it's some of the most brilliant minds that I've ever been around. So this is going to be your goal. In the off season, when your kids get old enough, start building a battle bot with them.
everybody talks about the post-playing career. Maybe mine's hopping on battle bots and seeing what I can do in there.
Sold. I know a few people that can pull some strings.
You think you could get me in?
Yeah, as long as you take back all those nasty words about my hometown.
Cleveland's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. You're rebounding nicely. All right, more with the Twins catcher coming up. But first, quick reminder that today's episode, it is sponsored by Amazon. This back-to-school season, spend less on your kids with Amazon. Look, I get it. You want to give your kids a great start to the year, but back to school has a way of absolutely destroying your budget. The supply list keeps growing. Your kids keep growing. That means the clothes stop fitting. Somehow there's always one more thing. Well, Amazon helps you handle all of it without losing your mind or your wallet. Now, I remember this back in the day when my kids were getting ready to go to school. Now they're in their 20s, so we don't have to deal with it. But I hated this, going from place to place to place. I need to get this notebook there, those pens there, the colored pencils there, a calculator over there. It would take the better part of several days just to get that done. Not anymore. Amazon, back to school, everything you need, all in one place. I'm talking backpacks, lunchboxes, notebooks, headphones, clothes. They got great prices, huge selection, and guess what? It shows up at your door before you know it, so you can go along with the rest of your day. So remember, with Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Right now, let's spend more time with Ryan Jeffers. I want to take you back to draft day for you. And I'm not going to call you a surprise second round pick by the Twins. Do you know what was said about you on the draft broadcast?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite clips that I have on my phone still.
Oh, here we go.
With the 59th selection in the 2018 MLB draft, the Minnesota Twins select Ryan Jeffers, a catcher from UNC Wilmington, North Carolina.
We don't have a script for him. We don't really have any B-roll. Ryan Jeffers is ranked 295 on Baseball America.
We only go 200 deep, so he wasn't on our 200. He was a borderline guy. You know, Baseball America, you said he was at 295. I think the consensus in the industry along a lot of the clubs was that he was going to have trouble staying behind the plate. Although UNC Wilmington does have a good pitching staff, there were times when he looked good. And so maybe you polish him up, you work with him, and you have an adequate catcher who could be an offensive-minded backup.
Now, what were you saying?
Tough, Yeah. Hey, that's kind of like this, I walk on at college, even when I get picked in a good spot in the draft, it still seems to be, oh, wow, this is we don't love this guy. But what mattered was the Twins loved me, and the Twins dedicated their time and energy and money into me and believed in the player I could be. It goes back to, like I said, it goes back to walking on at school. I didn't have a lot of opportunities elsewhere. I had some smaller D2 offers. But I trusted my work ethic. I trusted what I was going to do, trusted my ability to get better. My freshman year I only had 24 at-bats. My sophomore year, I didn't play until the third weekend of the season. And then by junior year, I'm going to the second round. So I went on to play 170 minor league games, something like that, before I was in the big leagues. So, I trusted myself. The Twins believed in me. The Twins trusted in me. And look where it's taken us.
That's an awesome philosophy for all of life. I don't care whether you're drafting the second round in the show or anything else you do. I did cut you off when you said, I have that clip on my phone. You still have it saved to this day?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's back in that folder from all the draft day stuff. I think that's about as most as the extended clip, I guess, to say that I've ever seen. I usually cut it off we don't have much on this guy. But it's just a crazy balance of not even being close to getting worked up and getting more than just a height and weight on the screen.
I just wonder, it's your special day. And I think, look, they were being fair. Like they have a job to do.
Absolutely.
200 prospects, and if you're not in it, they have to tell everybody, hey, we didn't even have him. It's not like they were going, oh, this guy sucks. But they gave it an evaluation, but then you use that as fuel, which is awesome. Yeah,
it was a weird balance between hey, I'm a second rounder, I'm showing up to the complex as a high draft pick. They gave me a lot of money. They believed in me. They gave me the resources that I was going to, if I took a hold of, turn me into the baseball player they believed I could be. I had Tanner Swanson, the catching guy for the Yankees, me and him grinded for the first years in the minors, turning me into a defensive catcher. And And then, the bat kind of did its thing, and I've learned through the years and grinded with David Popkins in the big leagues. And, my story has been a little bit unorthodox, but, it's gotten me to where I'm at now.
Well, you have shown them, because you are one of the best when it comes to ABS challenges in terms of getting pitches overturned for a called third strike. This is obviously the first season we've had it at the major league level. What is the key to being able to do that like a wizard?
We've had a lot of other like coaches, like, kind of trying to figure out what makes me and some of the other guys that are good at challenging good at it. I'm not sure it's a skill you can train a ton of. I think you just have an innate ability to understand the strike zone, understand the balls that you want to take a chance on, the pitches and the situations that you want to hold your challenges and not use them, and versus the situations you want to take a shot on. It's just, I think some guys are just good at it and some guys aren't.
Okay. I want to test just how good you are. I want to show you a couple clips of plays that were challenged.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me whether you think it was a ball or whether it was a good challenge or not. So let's see here.
Okay, these are from catcher's perspective, right?
Well, it's kind of behind. It's what we're watching as
when you're 2 feet away, it's a little bit easier.
Okay, so I get it. It could be a little tough.
Let's see.
All right, let's see what we got here. This first one. Okay, so the batter challenged that one. So do you think that was a good challenge or a bad challenge?
Bad challenge.
You think it was a bad challenge. All right, let's see how this one plays out. By the way, when there's it's dramatic effect when we're all waiting for this thing to happen, right?
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love the fan engagement. The conversation that goes on between me and the batter is always fun as well.
Oh, give me an example.
It's just like, it's usually always whoever challenges, like, immediately is like, what do you think? Like, ask the batter, ask the catcher. And I usually tell them, I usually stay pretty neutral and just be like, I don't know, it's pretty close. But there's a fun conversation and then a fun disappointment or excitement when it goes your way or it goes the other way.
All right, let's see another one here. Our producer Alex Grapp working this one. Okay, it's called a strike, another batter challenge. What do you think?
The ins and outs are hard. What's the count there? 1-1, 1-2.
Well, I think it's either was
1-1. That I don't hate it. It's a good challenge.
Okay. You think it's a ball or not?
I'm gonna say strike.
Okay.
Hitters are bad at it.
Hitters are bad at it. Hitters bad, catchers good, pitchers do not play. Look at how close that is. That's insane.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me to see pitchers challenging. That's crazy.
How? By the way,
this might be controversial. The whole time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say this might be controversial, but the whole time with this stuff, there's got to be a little bit of an error in the system. So when there's these balls that are this close, it's hard for me to believe that the ABS or the Hawkeye is measuring it down to fractions of an inch. I just can't. I just have a hard time believing that's that accurate.
Not only that, isn't that touching the strike zone? I mean, doesn't it look like it's touching the strike zone?
The graphic sure makes it look like it, yeah.
All right. Alex, we can take this stuff off the screen. Those two are great. I'm curious what the conversation is like with umpires after a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually, honestly, it's like, I mean, we had our ABS meeting in spring training. I stood up and kind of talked to the guys like, hey, like, we have to do our best to eliminate ego from all of this. Umpires, some are more sensitive than others, but we're standing up in front of a stadium of 30,000 people and telling them that we think they're wrong. So the less ego that we can put into it, the more just, hey, it's part of the game. I want to challenge and kind of not make it a big deal. The better it's going to go over with the umpires, just from a personality, from a, like I said, we are standing up in front of everybody and saying, I think you're wrong. So the less we can make that about them and just make it about how it's just part of the game now, the better.
Okay. To that point, there are some guys that you have a better relationship with than others. That's just human nature. Are there certain umpires you can bust their balls, and so you turn back to them and be like, told you?
Oh yeah, no, I've done that multiple times this year. One of those ones that just clips or just, I'll immediately just be like, I don't know how you missed that. It's part of the relationship I have with the guys. And, I always try, and it's one of the first things you're taught as a catcher is to build that pitcher catcher or that umpire catcher relationship. You guys are working as a team back there. You don't want him to miss anything. You don't want him to favor one way or another, but if you can be a good person, maybe something falls your way more often than it goes the other way. So joking around and busting their balls is kind of part of, having a good friendly relationship with guys. And sometimes it's fun back there.
Yeah. Give me just a couple of names of the guys that you could do that with, just so that it kind of humanizes them a little.
You put me on the spot.
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember. I want to give you the exact example of someone the other day. I don't remember who it was, but there was three or so in a span of, it felt like 10 pitches, and it was just we were just going back and forth. He says Ali, if I missed another, someone got one wrong, he's like, gosh, if I missed another one, I might have to walk off the field right now. Just stuff like that. I think they're starting to embrace the fact that they have an ability now to get better in game. Almost all of them, if there's a close pitch, they radio up to the booth hey, mark that pitch for me, and then they're able to go look at it in between innings. I think it gives them a sense very quickly of hey, I'm calling a little bit more to the left-handed batter's box today, or hey, I'm stretching a little bit too far down, and gives them a quick, because they don't want to be wrong, especially now that players can call them out in front of the whole stadium. So I do think it put a new accountability on the umpires that hasn't been there before.
It's awesome. A few more things, I'll let you go back to being a major league catcher. You guys are playing the Field of Dreams game against the Phillies coming up.
Mm-hmm.
How excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, I'd say a 9. It'd be a 10 if it wasn't going to be a 14-hour travel day or something. But I think it's one of those experiences, one of those things that you maybe get to do once in your career, if that. So you don't even have to be a fan of the movie, but just to go play in the middle of a cornfield, play a big league baseball game in the middle of Iowa in a cornfield, and just get to do something unique like that. Be on Netflix, it's just a cool moment for any of us to get to do something special like that.
All right. Is Field of Dreams the best baseball movie ever?
I'm going to go unorthodox. I've always said Benchwarmers was my favorite, the comedic baseball movie. I'm not a classic baseball movie guy. I'm a little bit more of the Benchwarmers. That was one of my favorite movies of all time growing up.
Interesting. Benchwarmers. I was
I
not
loved it.
expecting that one.
I know. It's a good movie.
Okay.
It's a phenomenal movie.
But if Field of Dreams is on and you're flipping through the hotel channels, will you stop and watch or no?
Yeah, I'll watch it for a little bit. One thing, I have never been a huge movie quote guy, but Field of Dreams has always been one that I remember watching growing up.
Yeah, of course. The freakiest scene, though, is after Costner drops James Earl Jones off after he took him to that Red Sox game, and he spins the VW van around, and all of a sudden, James Earl Jones is standing right there, and he goes, "Moonlight Graham, you saw it. I knew it. You saw it, too." "Saw what, Ray?" Yeah, some good stuff.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
That's impressive.
Thank you. Well, I've seen it a few gazillions.
Just a few times.
Want to ask you something about one of our favorites around here, Joe Ryan. Are you half catcher, half psychologist when he is on the mound?
I would say 1/4 catcher.
3/4 psychologist?
Yeah, 3/4 psychologist. No, he is an unbelievable pitcher, unbelievable Athlete, the stuff that he can do on the mound is crazy, but the personality, just adds to the level of excitement, the this game, not a lot of guys show their personality like he does. And it's just fun to watch, honestly. It's just fun to watch.
Has there ever been a moment where you've walked up to him and be like, Joe, you are out of this world crazy?
I mean, that's probably at least twice a day. Where he'll, I mean, it's more so just when he gets on the mound, it's a lot of pitchers like get to this zone. His zone is like, it's like he keeps it so loose, but that is his zone. A lot of, like you look at guys that are just stoic on the mound, don't show emotions. He's the opposite. He feeds from having the fun nature, the doing the Joe Ryan experience stuff. That is what feeds his personality.
That's awesome. All right, I got 5 quick hitters for you, and I'll get you out of here. Better catching movie character, Jake Taylor from Major League or Crash Davis from Bull Durham?
Crash Davis.
Yeah.
I grew up in Raleigh, so I went to Durham Bulls games a lot. So that was one of probably the most watched baseball movie for me.
You ever want to hit the Bull?
I played there a couple times when I was growing up, but I was way too little to try to hit a ball out of that stadium.
It's okay. One legendary pitcher, dead or alive, that you wish you could have caught.
Ooh. I was looking at the strikeout leaderboards the other day. It popped up on my feed of some sort. And just seeing how many punch outs Nolan Ryan has is just, that had to be fun to catch. That had to be pretty easy just to put down the fingers for everything that he was throwing was not hitting a baseball bat.
Yeah. Pretty good in his time or any time.
I would say so.
More miserable weather to catch in, Minnesota night game in early April or day game in Kansas City in July?
Probably the day game in July. Honestly, the cold weather is really hard when you first walk outside. But you honestly get warmed, especially catching, you get warmed up pretty quick. We have all the cold weather stuff. And you don't even think about it once you get rolling. The heat, by the 6th, 7th inning, you're starting to move a little bit slower.
Okay. Speaking of which, have you ever wanted to spray some air freshener on an umpire during a hot summer game?
No, I didn't. I have not. But we had speaking of umpires, we had a hot game the other day, and Bruce was behind the plate. Bruce Dykman. And it was really sweaty, really hot. And he told me, he goes, why it's hot in the Midwest is, the corn sweats, which, I don't know. Apparently the corn sweats and makes the Midwest humid. So maybe I should have sprayed a little bit on Bruce.
Okay. Always learning something from those umpires. They got something for you. Finally,
you never know.
Is our boy Trevor Plouffe an A-lister when we're talking about recognizability amongst Twins fans?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. I think he's ingrained himself enough. When he's in the booth, I feel like the TV ratings are as good as they're going to get. People love to hear him talk and talk about the game, and he's really good at it. He really understands, the player side and the front office, the other side of the game. So I think I would say yes, A-lister.
I'll be honest with you. If the Twins really want to up their ratings, they should always have Plouffe picture in picture while the game's going on. I mean, that man is just such a sexy beast.
So a little Manning cast kind of thing. Just kind of put him in the corner the whole game. There you go. A little Plouffe cast.
You can tell
Plouffe's production,
Yeah, you can tell that to our buddy Dustin Morse. You're welcome for
I'll text him right after this,
Absolutely. Well, you gave us a ton of time. I really, really appreciate it. Continue to have a great, great season. I will let all the good fans in Cleveland know the next time you're returning as well, okay?
I know we don't go back there this year. So, darn it.
Well, There's
Really,
always
really,
next year, buddy.
there's always next year.
There's always next year or the playoffs. You
Oh
never
yeah,
know.
maybe October.
Oh my God. Well, just remember this: when they're booing you in your first at bat in the wild card round,
Yep.
you're going to be like, God damn, I should not have said that to Chris.
It's fine. We'll feed off of it.
You have, and you've made a great career out of it. Keep doing your thing, man, and I appreciate the time, all right?
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
Well, big thank you to Ryan Jeffers, who I am going to nominate to put on the Cleveland mayoral ballot in the near future. I'm kidding. You only mess with the ones you love. But it'll be interesting to hear the next time he walks up to the plate. Now batting, Ryan Jeffers. Boo! That's okay. I'll tell him not to boo. We're buddies now. Hey, quick little note for you. We partnered with our friends over at Postmates to talk everything food with your favorite players. So whether it's local favorite on your go-to delivery order, Postmates gets you more of what you love delivered. Let's find out what players are eating. Let's say you've got a friend that's in town that's never been to L.A.
Okay.
What type of food are you saying you've got to have that before you leave?
Oh, damn. I guess it would depend on where they're from. Like, if they have good access to tacos, then I'd say we'd still probably get tacos. But I think for the most part, any out-of-stater would go get probably tacos somewhere.
I mean, I guess not being racist, I'm black, so it had to be some type of chicken place. I mean, everybody was thinking it.
I mean, I think the easy answer is Mexican food. Just find a good taco shop or a good burrito. Hole in the wall, honestly, is probably the way to go. I think the less glamorous and less fanfare it looks like on the outside, probably the better food it is.
Now, do you go healthy now you're in your 30s, or are you doing something else?
I mean, if I'm having family over and, it's a one-time thing, then I got to go with the obvious. Probably got to find some fried chicken. Sorry, Black America.
Do you load up your taco? Are you the guy that just puts everything, or just minimalist?
No, I go pretty basic. I like a good fish taco. Usually, most of the taco stands that we know, that I know, are actually in San Diego, just because that's where I grew up and what I'm familiar with. But I like a good fish taco. I like just like classic carne asada, pollo asado. I don't really go anything too crazy.
I'm getting like a traditional like street taco with like the double corn thing, and I'll get like pastor. I'll probably just do onions and cilantro, and that's it. And then if I'm doing like a different style, I'll maybe load it up. But for me, I'm more of a purist. I think just like the normal street taco with just a little something on there.
Probably Mexican food. I feel like they do it really well here. And then my family and friends are mostly from the East Coast. There's a little less of that over there.
I would say Mexican. Tacos here are pretty close to what the Mexican food tastes like.
Yeah, when you go Mexican, do you add everything? Are you a basic guy? Like, do you load up?
I load up on everything except for dairy. No dairy.
I actually like my tacos with just a meat, cilantro, and onions. That's what I like on my tacos, and then I'll do whatever salsa they have.
Probably Portos.
Help me out there.
Portos is a Cuban bakery shop. That's where we send everybody.
And what are we getting?
It's up to preference, but you gotta get some quesitos, you gotta get some relleno de papa. The coffee cake is top of the league. You can get the tortilla española. There's a lot of, I haven't tried one bad thing there, so.
You don't want to cook. You don't want to grill. You want to have food delivered to the house. What type of food are we having?
I'm thinking if we're gonna get something delivered, it's probably gonna be some type of Asian fusion situation. There's a couple spots we really like that are around the corner from the house that the wontons and the sushis and all that stuff. That's our jam. So it probably have to be something like that.
For the most part, when I order food, it's like sushi or like pizza. If we do that, very like rarely, but if I do, I'm just gonna go ahead and say sushi from Sora Sushi.
I always have this debate. How many days can you leave like Chinese food or Asian fusion in the fridge before you will not eat it again?
For me, I'm going no more. So eat the day of, refrigerate. The next day, if it's not eaten that day, probably needs to be thrown away. And that's just what we do. I mean, you probably got like 2 days.
I got 6 or 7.
You can
Just keep going.
You can. You can go 6 or 7 days. I don't know. We'll see how you are after you eat it. But 2 for me.
Dude, I'm iron stomach. Do you think anything would defeat this body?
Well, I don't have an iron stomach, so it would definitely defeat me.
If you do load up your pizza, what's our go-to?
I'm a basic bitch, dude. I just go pepperoni. I'm a big just pepperoni. That's it.
Can you down a whole pie by yourself easily?
Easily, for sure. Yeah.
2?
Yeah, no. I'll stop it at 1, like a responsible person. But I could definitely slam some pizza.
There's a place in Pasadena called Sushi Ga that we go to. We go to a lot. They have a really good baked salmon roll. That's probably our go-to.
If I don't have to move, like that's comfort meal. That's Chick-fil-A, easy every day, except for Sunday, unfortunately.
And what are we getting?
Spicy chicken sandwich, fries, half and half, probably 2 sandwiches. And then I'll probably order an extra one for Miguel.
Pretty basic. Spicy tuna rolls for sure. Maybe gyoza, something like that. And then it's the crispy rice with the spicy tuna on top. I like that too.
I love myself a good hand roll. So if Kazunori is available, that's a go-to.
What type of roll?
I get some yellowtail, some otoro, hamachi. We can get look at the specials of the day. I usually get some sashimi on the side too, like a little sashimi salad. But honestly, there's no wrong choice there.
We've talked about this. You are very particular about what you put in your body, but we all have cheat days, some of us more than others. What is the cheat food for you?
Well, I've been recently, they've been trying to have me, I guess we mutually have both agreed that I should gain weight the last week or 2. So I've kind of just been going full fat kid mode. So I haven't really been watching when I'm eating. If there's an option of it to be healthy or not to be healthy, I might lean towards the healthy option. But for the most part, it's tough for me to put on weight unless I'm eating like a fat kid. So I usually have just been crushing whatever. What was the question again?
I've really been into smash burgers, and it's not even really overly cheap, but for me, yeah, because I try not to do the dairy and all that stuff. I kind of take that out of my diet, especially during season. So yeah, man, I would have to go some smash burgers and some loaded fries.
When I like to cheat, I'll go for some kind of donut. I miss donuts a lot because I actually just started going gluten-free a couple years ago, and that's probably what I miss the most.
My wife makes sweet Lorenz chocolate chip cookies at home, and it's she makes 8 of them, and I'll probably eat 7 of them. Leave her 1.
Maybe 5 Guys I'd have to go with.
Once again, are we loading up everything, or are you a basic dude?
Pretty basic. I'm getting a lot of food, but I'm pretty basic on the burger, just a double cheeseburger or something like that.
Oh, seriously? So what does the order look like? Could it be triple digits?
No. 5 Guys, the burgers are huge. So I'll do 2 double burgers and a medium fry, which they throw the whole bag of fries in there.
You can't just say donut. You've got to tell me what kind.
We go, I used to eat old fashions a lot. Yes. Yeah, I love to go old fashioned. And there's a spot, I think it's Sidecar Donuts. I believe that's what it's called. They got a really good gluten-free one.
Yeah, I used to go 2 chocolate sprinkled every day in high school. We used to have somebody would bring the donuts in. I know it might be shocking with this body, but that's exactly what happened.
I'm honestly pizza probably. That's usually, or a burger or whatever. I don't consider burgers to be that unhealthy, to be honest, but if I'm going crazy, probably a pizza. And another guilty pleasure is probably a corn dog. I don't eat those that often, but that in high school, that was my shit, corn dog.
Anything fried, I think, is my weakness. I feel like fried chicken would be up there. Any kind of one of these fried chicken stores or companies or restaurants. I think you always get my attention. Fried arepas, if I can, at home.
Randy's Donuts. Randy's Donuts, maybe the best glazed I've ever had in my life.
Oh, you go basic, huh?
Yeah, I'm a basic bitch.
Yes, you are. And on that note, go hit some show homers. Thank you very much to Postmates for sponsoring this snackable segment. So whatever you're craving, Postmates has got you covered. We're talking more restaurants, low fees, and your favorite food delivered right to your door. Head on over to Postmates today.